Bitcoin is easy to picture. A list of transfers, thousands of identical copies, machines agreeing on which is real. Ethereum gets described as a world computer, and everybody nods and understands nothing. So forget that phrase. We are going to build up to Ethereum from Bitcoin, one piece at a time. Start with something Bitcoin already does that you may not have noticed. When a payment arrives, every machine on the network does actual work. It checks the signature, it checks those funds exist. If both pass, every machine updates its copy in exactly the same way. So Bitcoin already has a shared machine. It just has one hardwired rule. Move the coins if the signature is valid and the balance is there. That is the only rule there is, and nobody can add another. Not you, not the developers, not anybody. A machine with a single lever labeled Move Coins if Signature Valid and a crossed-out slot labeled No Other Rules, which is exactly the question Ethereum asked. What if you could write the rule yourself? Now, before the answer, we need the problem it solves. Otherwise, none of it makes sense. Say you hold one kind of coin and I hold another, and we want to swap. There is an obvious difficulty. Whoever sends first loses, because the other person can simply take it and disappear. So we need somebody in the middle to hold both and release them only when both have arrived. That is what an exchange is, and it means they hold your money. They can freeze your account, go out of business, get broken into, or run off with it. You are not really trading with me, you're trusting them. Two people unable to send first with a middleman in the center holding both piles, labeled you are trusting them, not each other. So here's what you can do instead. Somebody writes a set of rules and uploads them. Those rules land at an address, exactly like a person's address, and that address can hold funds of its own. This one holds a pot of both coins, say 100 of yours and 100 of mine, and it has one rule. When coins come in, send back whatever amount keeps the two piles multiplied together equal to the same number. 100 times 100 is 10,000, and 10,000 is the number that must never change. An address holding two piles labeled 100 and 100 with the rule written beneath. Keep the two piles multiplied together at 10,000. Let us follow one swap all the way through. You send 10 of your coins to that address. Every machine runs the rule. The first pile is now 110. To keep the product at 10,000, the second pile must come down to about 90.9. It was 100. So the difference, about 9, goes to you. You sent 10, you received 9, and the pot rebalanced itself. One step. Either the whole thing happened or none of it did. 10 coins going into the address and 9 coming back out, with the two piles updating to 110 and 90.9, labeled one step, all or nothing. Now stop and look at everything that did not happen. Nobody held your money, not for a second. There was no other person to find, wait for, or trust. Nothing could refuse you, because the rules contain no way of saying no. Nobody could change the terms halfway, not even whoever wrote them, and you could read the entire rule before sending anything. That is the actual point of Ethereum, not a computer, the middleman's job done by rules that nobody controls. The middleman from earlier crossed out and replaced by a small rule card sitting between the two people, headed No Middleman, Just the Rule. One quick question you might be having. Where did that pot of coins come from? Somebody supplied it, and in real systems, the rule also takes a tiny cut of every swap, which goes to whoever put the coins in. That is their incentive for filling the pot in the first place. Now, let us kill the mental picture that trips everybody up, because I think this is the piece that makes it click. That program is not running. There is no server. Nothing is switched on, and no process is sitting there waiting for you. The code is simply data in the list, in exactly the same way that a balance is data in the list. Bitcoin's list holds entries like, this address has 3 coins. Ethereum's list holds that too, and it can also hold, this address has these coins and this code and these variables. Same list. Same copies everywhere. The entries are just richer. 2 list entries side by side. the left reading address and balance, the right reading address, balance, code, and variables, headed same list, richer entries. So when you send that transaction, it goes into the next block just like a payment would. Then every machine working through that block reads the code stored at that address, runs it start to finish, and writes the new numbers into its copy. Then it stops. Nothing is running. It is dormant data again until somebody pokes it. And they all agree for exactly the same reason they agree about payments. Same code, same inputs, same order, so the same result. No coordination and no server anywhere. People call these things smart contracts, which is misleading twice over. They are not contracts in any legal sense, and there is nothing clever about them. They are just rules that everybody runs and nobody can edit. Now, the consequence nobody warns you about? If anybody can upload any program, sooner or later somebody uploads one containing a loop that never ends. On a machine thousands of computers run in lockstep, that would freeze the entire thing for everybody, forever. You cannot even detect it in advance because working out whether a program will ever finish is one of the genuinely unanswerable questions in computing. A program looping forever while every machine on the network sits frozen waiting, labeled "one bad loop stops everyone." So here's the fix, and it is a counter. Every single instruction has a small number attached to it. Before your transaction runs, you set a budget. As your code executes, that budget counts down. If it reaches 0, execution stops immediately, everything the program did is undone, and you lose what you paid. This is called gas, and the name causes endless confusion, so let me be blunt. Nothing is burning. There is no fuel. It is a step counter with an unfortunate name, called gas because it behaves like petrol in a car. You fill up before you set off, it drains as you travel, and when it runs out, you stop moving. A counter ticking down as a program executes step by step, hitting 0 and the program halting and reversing, labeled a counter, not a fuel. And where does that payment go? To the person whose machine actually ran your code. Somebody earned the right to build that block, and their computer executed your program and stores the result forever, so they are paid for it. Some designs now destroy part of the fee rather than paying it out, but the principle holds. You are paying for work done on somebody else's hardware, which is why one mechanism solves two problems at once. The person doing the work gets compensated, and a runaway program dies when its budget does. Write an infinite loop, and you will pay the full amount and get absolutely nothing back, while everybody else loses a fraction of a second that you funded. A validator receiving payment for running a program on their machine beside a burnt-out infinite loop labeled paid in full achieved nothing. So here's the honest summary. As a computer, Ethereum is genuinely terrible. It's slow, it's expensive, and everything on it is public. You would never build an ordinary application this way. It's good at exactly one thing: running rules that hold something valuable between people who do not trust each other, where nobody can be allowed to change the rules afterwards. Bitcoin has one rule and nobody can change it. Ethereum lets you write your own rule, and once it's live, nobody can change that either, including you.